Who am I? Good question. My name is Elizabeth Grace Fawcett. I was named after my great-grandmother, Elizabeth Brookert, and a woman named Grace Donaldson, who was like a grandmother to my mom. At first glance, I am a dancer, a cheerleader, a singer, a performer, and a reader. And although I am most definitely all of those things, I am so much more. I was born on October 27th, 1999, at 3:57 p.m. at the Northeast Georgia Medical Center to Kristen Deanna Fawcett. As a baby, I was very bald. My mom would always put me in hats so that people would know I was a girl. As a toddler, I was super energetic and bossy. I would always play pretend kitchen with my Nana and be the waitress as well as the chef. When she would tell me what she wanted to eat, I would always reply with, "We're all out," and make her what I wanted to make. The bossiness didn't go away as I got into elementary school. I loved school and always wanted to be in charge of every project to make sure it was perfect. This often offended any group members I had. Because I loved school as much as I did very well with academics. I won the Young Authors Writing Contest for Hall County, and in 4th grade, won first place in state at the Math Fest competition. I jumped around from sport to sport: basketball, soccer, gymnastics, horseback riding, cheer, dance, you name it, I did it. I was also very involved in Girl Scouts, for 7 years actually. Throughout all of the sports that I did, I fell in love with one and have stuck with it for the last 6 years. That's dance. I spend many hours a week at the dance company in Gainesville and take hip-hop, ballet, tap, musical theater, jazz, lyrical, and am a part of the senior ensemble competition dance team. Dance is a way that I can express myself and relieve stress while still having fun, especially with all of the amazing friends I have made and teachers that inspire me through dance. I think that one of the reasons that I love dance as much as I do is because it involves music. Music is one of the most important things in my life, whether it's singing it, dancing to it, playing it, or just listening to it. And I have a pretty eclectic music taste. I love anything from 20s classic jazz to indie folk to Broadway show tunes to 80s progressive rock. Personality-wise, I am both left-brained and right-brained. I am most definitely a perfectionist. I'm never satisfied with my work until I feel like it is absolutely perfect. Because of this and the fact that I have OCD, I am very indecisive. I overthink things when making decisions because I want them to be, well, perfect. I am very motivated to be successful and want things to go my way, so I love when things are organized and logical. When the Oxley Group implemented their 4 Phases of Frustration philosophy in the RACE program, I found out that my adaptive behavior style is red, or dominant. This means that I am direct, fast-talking, and extroverted, that I often take charge and assume a leadership position. This aspect of my personality is very left-brained. However, I am also very creative. I hate being unoriginal, even if it's something petty like my favorite color, which is yellow, by the way, because I like it and hardly anyone else does. Coincidentally, with the 4 Phases of Frustration study, I found out that my natural behavior style is yellow. Yellows are very people, relationship, and feelings-oriented, trusting, social, and outgoing. I love art and expressing myself and being crazy and having fun with things, and that aspect of my personality is very right-brained. All of these traits I acquired because I was influenced by people in my life. One of the most influential people in my life was my Nana, Lynn Dixon. My Nana was born in Greeley, Colorado in 1949. She grew up on a farm in a 2-bedroom house with 6 sisters and her parents. In 1968, she married my grandpa, Ron Dixon, and they moved to Florida together. They divorced shortly after my mom was born in 1970, and my Nana went back to school to UGA to become a pharmacist. She did exactly that and became a great pharmacist that was even awarded the Bristol Award for Community Service in Pharmacy. From a young age, I spent most of my time with my Nana, and she became my best friend. She would play with me and laugh with me and give me the best advice I've ever received. She taught me virtues like perseverance and trust, and was a huge role model for me. Although we don't look much alike, I get my love for odd music from her, as well as my eating habits and love for ice cream. My Nana's 6 sisters, Audrey, Marilyn, Beverly, Gloria, Debbie, and Cindy, and their families, have influenced my life a ton as well. They all live in different areas of the world: Colorado, California, Arizona, even Germany. Every few years, the sisters and all of their children and all of their children's children get together at my great-aunt Audrey's house in Littleton, Colorado. They have all taught me how to love one another and to accept each other for who they are, because they're all very different. My papa, Ron, has also been a huge influence in my life. He was born in 1945 and grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Denver, Colorado. He has 2 brothers, Jerry and Gary. When my mom was still pretty young, he was a middle school science teacher in Florida. However, right before he and my Nana divorced, he went to the University of Florida to become a dentist. Currently, he has his own practice in St. Augustine, Florida, and is very successful. He has taught me that you can achieve anything you want to as long as you apply yourself. Because of his success, he gets to do other things that he would not have been able to do had he not pushed himself to become a dentist. My papa loves to travel. He has condos in Budapest, Hungary, and Steamboat Springs, Colorado. He lives in St. Augustine, but is away more than he is at home. He's been to so many places I can't name them all, but some of his favorites include Spain, Cuba, Morocco, and Italy. Seeing the adventures that he has in exotic places encourages my love for travel even more. My mom is probably the biggest influence on my life right now. She was born in 1970 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and grew up in different areas of Florida as well as Athens, Georgia. Growing up with her dad living as far as a state away and her single mom in school to become a pharmacist, she became really independent at a young age. Most of the character traits that I possess, I get from my mom. Unlike my physical traits, she is fun-loving, driven, passionate, and loves chocolate. She is an elementary school teacher and loves to be creative. I have a deep love for reading, and I believe that it is because she would read to me at a young age, and I fell in love with books.
So Grace always loved to be read to. She loved to look at books. She loved to listen to someone read, but it didn't take very long for her to decide she'd really rather read the books herself. And she had lots of favorite books, and even driving down the street, she constantly was trying to read the signs or read everything in the grocery stores. And this was at a pretty young age, at 3 years old. I'll never forget the time her preschool teacher came up to me one day and said, "I need to talk to you about Grace." And I thought, "Oh no, what's wrong?" And she said, "Well, I just want to make sure you're okay with this. After she writes her name on her paper, she likes to go around the room and write everyone else's name on their paper for them too, because she likes to kind of, help everyone out, but do it the right way." So that's the kind of kid she was.
Because of my love for reading, books influence me almost as much as people do. One of the best books I've read in the past is Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. One of my favorite quotes from the book is, "Why fit in when you're born to stand out?" It encourages me to be who I am, no matter how weird I may seem to others. My mom also adores everything that has to do with music. She plays the piano, as do I, sings, and was even on her high school drill team at Cedar Shoals in Athens, which incorporated tons of dancing. In 1990, my mom spent an entire year away from home, traveling the world with a group called Up With People. She and about 60 other young adults from around the world visited over 25 U.S. states, Mexico, Canada, Belgium, Germany, Switzerland, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, singing and dancing for huge audiences. She is extremely talented and is who I look up to the most in my life. My dad has had a significant influence on me too, especially genetically. Sometimes, people say that my mom and I look alike, and then see my dad and take back what they said. I get my brown hair, my height, and my bone structure, especially my forehead, from my dad. Most of the traits I've gotten from influential people in my life are nurture traits caused by nurture, but my dad's given me nurture traits as well as nature traits. My dad and I act a lot alike. Like me, he loves to be organized, logical, and in control. My friends probably influence me just as much as my family members do. I have a few close friends that I spend most of my time with, either at school, dance, or theater. They are always there to support me no matter how dumb I act. They can always count on me to be there for them, or to catch them if they pass out, and I know I can count on them too. In elementary school, I decided that I was going to be the first woman president of the United States. I don't know if it was just because I liked the idea of being in charge, but I was so determined I even gave a campaign speech for our class talent show in 2nd grade. As I matured, my dream job changed from president to Supreme Court justice to world-famous author and everything in between. Currently, I am aspiring to become a neurosurgeon, a brain surgeon. This is because I find the brain entirely fascinating because it controls everything in your body and everything about you, and I think that saving people's lives by operating on their brains would be extremely fulfilling. My grandma just recently had brain surgery to have a tumor removed, and I found it extremely interesting. A major pro to being a neurosurgeon is that I would have the means to be able to support myself in anything else that I wanted to do, like fulfilling my personal legend. I believe that my personal legend is to travel the world. I was raised traveling, and I love it more than anything else in the world. With my Nana's, Papa's, and Mom's love of travel, it's definitely in my blood. I couldn't imagine my life without travel. When my mom was pregnant with me, she took a trip to San Juan and Orcas Islands off the coast of Washington State, so you could say I've traveled since I was in the womb, literally. Since then, I've gone to Michigan, Florida, all of the states surrounding Georgia, Colorado, New York, France, and Germany. My number one lifetime bucket list goal is to travel to every country on the planet. Crazy, I know, but I'm gonna do it. One of my childhood dreams was to travel to Paris, and 2 years ago, I got the chance to go to Paris as well as Colmar, France, because I have ancestors from a little village that neighbors Colmar called Niedermorschwihr. My love of travel can be pretty much summed up with this quote by David McCullough Jr. Climb mountains not so the world can see you, but so you can see the world. I feel that it is naive of us not to go and see the rest of our planet and all that it has to offer. Our Earth is amazing, and I want to be able to experience it all. Accomplishing my personal legend of travel will take loads of money. To overcome this obstacle, I'm going to persevere through pursuing a career in neurosurgery. The average yearly salary of a neurosurgeon in the United States is more than $704,170, which would fully support my traveling endeavors. However, becoming a neurosurgeon is no easy feat. It takes at least 14 years of post-high school education. First, I would need to get a pre-medical undergraduate degree from a good school. My number one choice is Columbia University in New York City. However, Columbia is a private Ivy League school and is out of state, so not only would it be extremely hard to get accepted, but financing my education there would be a huge obstacle to overcome. For 4 years at Columbia University, it will cost $253,760. Despite this, I am determined and am willing to work as hard as I can to accomplish my goal. Hopefully, with scholarships and financial aid, I will be able to make it work. After I earn my bachelor's degree in pre-medicine, I will need to go to a medical school for at least another 4 years. Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons is another prestigious school that I would love to attend, but money is an issue yet again, with tuition at a mere $53,544 per year. In order for medical school to even be a possibility for me, I must excel in the first 4 years of earning my undergraduate. Even after the 8 years of undergraduate and medical school, I must then fulfill at least a 6-year residency, pass an exam, and apply for a state license. Then I can be a neurosurgeon. 14 years and at least $467,936 will be worth the satisfaction of achieving my goal. Once I achieve my goal, I will be able to fulfill my personal legend.